Good morning, everyone. I hope everybody's having a great day today. So today, well, you actually reached out to me, Esther, which is a very interesting thing because I guess before we start, how did you find me, or what made you reach out to me?
Well, I have several friends that were real close and we're real connected, and one of them is always looking into different videos. So he ran across you, and he instantly sent it to me, and he helped us out a lot with the Superfund. He still does. So I instantly viewed it and reached out to you.
Oh, thank you so much. I think these are some of the most important topics that I feel like the Rio Grande Valley is kind of forgotten, or they kind of like they hear about it and then they hear about it and then they kind of get over it and then they move to the next thing. But the problem is that this affects everybody here in the Rio Grande Valley because we're not just talking about like one Superfund site in Mission. We have multiple Superfund sites across the Rio Grande Valley. And you were known as the Erin Brockovich of the Rio Grande Valley, correct?
Yeah, correct. But she got a lot of money for her work. I got almost nothing.
Wow.
I got cancer. My grandson has spinal bifida. He's never walked a day in his life, and he's
Jeez.
from that area. Then everybody around me, either epileptic seizures or cancer, or kidney failure. So it really affected me tremendously because when I discovered it, I was kind of saying, no wonder everybody's seizures in school. No wonder everybody's falling. No wonder people always have massive headaches and just so much. But once I discovered it, I think the men here also in the Rio Grande Valley were so into agriculture. My daddy was a semi pro and professional baseball player, and he came to Mission for the 30-30 baseball park. No, the owners of all the citrus groves wanted the men not playing baseball. My daddy wanted to boost the economy in the Rio Grande Valley because he went through a lot of hardship. So he ended up in Mission Panada. He went and worked as an inspector. My father ended up dying of stomach cancer when I was 14 years old.
Jeez. So can you kind of just frame this up for us because we're going to be talking about the Hayes-Sammons, which was in Mission. So kind of talk about the history of it.
Okay, I have a lot of the history, the exact dates. It was in the 40s, and there was no regulations. And I do have the picture. I don't know how you're going to be able to see this. Um, can you see that? Can you see the plant there?
Yeah, there you go.
That was one of the plants in Mission. That was a mixing plant. And the land is still there. Nothing's being done about it. Everybody across the street, everybody who helped me, they all died of cancer.
Wow.
Um, so many. But what happened was I was born in the Miller neighborhood, and my daddy was one of the first Mexican American Indians who was able to buy south of the railroad track. And then you had your judge, then you had prominent Hispanic men because our people, our families could not buy north of the railroad track. We had to buy south of the railroad track. So my daddy owned the second house, but then also across the street from our house was the Hayes-Sammons receiving plant. And that was a big bodega, a big warehouse where they brought all the products from all parts of the world. I discovered this in 1998. And when I discovered this, I was coaching and teaching, and I came home one day, and there's all these men in white hazmat outfits, and all our neighborhood is sealed with caution, caution, caution. So I call my kids, and I'm talking to the neighbors. What the hell is this? I said, let's go talk to those men, and they said, no, 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 don't get near them, don't get near them. No, I went with my coaching. I'm tall, I'm 5'9". I went with my coaching attire, and I said, gentlemen, may I speak to somebody? And there was a really tall guy, over 6 feet from Union Pacific. He says, you're trespassing. I go, excuse me, I'm in the street. I
Wow.
said, so what are you doing? And he said, here, you want to know anything? You talk to our attorneys. I said, attorneys? So that's when everything was exposed that there was another warehouse across the street from my Oblate home, but they were destroying it. And that's when I saw some Anglo young men, and I said, guys, what are y'all doing? They said, ma'am, we're gonna make it really nice and pretty. We're gonna make it like a park. I said, a park? This has been sealed for years and years and years. Well, that was a bodega, that was a warehouse where they brought all the shipment. So then the guy said, well, man, we're not at the liberty to speak to you. And I said, what? So that's when they told me to go speak to those guys over there. And they were just rude as rude could be. I said, guys, that big home is mine. I have children there. Wow. And I teach them how to throw or catch or run after school, after my job. I said, what are you doing with all these big rigs? So they ended up, then they brought a giant iron ball and they started destroying the warehouse. Well, nobody told us anything. And the man who was a mayor, I went to him and he didn't even know what was happening. And then they had a sign there, for more information, contact us in Austin. So I did contact him in Austin and I told him to ship the stuff to the mayor, and he's Salinas, I'm Salinas. So then I went to him. I said, sir, they're supposed to send you a packet from Austin. He said, oh, ahí está, mija. And he just hands it to me. Wow. Oh my God. It said how dangerous it was, how it was a Superfund, and how it was very toxic for the population, and that they had all of these monitoring wells. Well, my son had seen men in white, and he said, Mom, how come those men come in white outfits and they're testing? I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I was coaching. I didn't see them. Well, to make a long story short, in 1984, the United States government, and I have the paperwork, I have a ton of paperwork. Here, EPA, and that's why I want to bring the EPA secretary down, and I want to bring Secretary Kennedy down, because everybody failed to communicate with us, starting all our leaders, local, regional, state. The national leaders were saying we need to check the United States of America for the 10 most toxic places in the United States. Mm-hmm. Well, it ended up we fell number 6 out of the top 10 most contaminated in the U.S.
Wait. So you're saying that Mission, Texas was ranked number 6 out of the 10 most toxic places in the United States?
Yes, sir. And I have the paperwork.
Jeez.
And then what happened was that the mayor who came in was so much into developing this town, and then we kind of got in a feud. I said, sir, I helped back you in. I said, you're not listening. Look at the giant bodegas. I have pictures. I have everything from them. No, mija, let it go, let it go. I said, how can I let it go when my daddy died when I was 14 years old? How can I let it go when everybody's sick? Now, I've had thyroid cancer, so I have a lot of side effects. I have a lot of health issues. And everybody still contacts me because we lost thousands of persons, but I still get calls. We lost 3 people this month, and I lost my daughter to cancer, and I lost. So everybody still comes to me to tell me or hear my words. And yeah, they swept it under the rug. So TCEQ, and now they're TNRCC and EPA, they came in, did their cover up. Limpiaron aquí, limpiaron acá, movieron tierra de aquí para allá. They moved dirt from here, there. They moved a lot of our toxic dirt to Robstown, Texas. And then to top it off, they did not remove the pipes. Well, we have high levels of arsenic. Mm-hmm. I did send you a document where it talks about 12 pesticides. I have a document. Yeah, I have a document given to me by one of the attorneys. She left. I don't know if you can see this. Can you see that? Contaminants?
Yes.
These are all of the contaminants found in Mission, Texas, or that were made in the warehouse. Not only that, a lot of times it took 2 pounds of this and 1 pound of that. So then I have all the contaminants found or reported in Mission, Texas, and then it tells you what they cost. Mm-hmm. But we have high levels of arsenic, and I was addressing that last semester, and the city officials are, we don't care. They're in denial. One of them lost her little brother. He died, I don't know, at about 6 years old. He fell. They had dropped DDT, a big drum, and in there, they used to use the neighborhood garages to store the excess supply. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people have died wrongfully of cancer, a lot of deformities, We have a lot of lupus in town. We have a lot of kidney failures. I registered 125 kids. You should have seen the big tumors on their faces, on their heads. And now that they made a big deal about that they shut down the EPA museum in Washington, I said, how come they never had any of our paperwork? If you were to see some of the paperwork and some of the pictures I have, you'll freak out. And what I'm trying to teach people are, guys, the Rio Grande Valley is based on what? Agriculture.
Right.
So all of these poisons that were produced not only in Mission, Texas for 30, 40 years, like the doctor said, it's going to take 100 years for them to biodegrade. 100 years. So they sprayed pure DDT, pure aldrin, pure chlordane, pure DDE, DDD. Everything they poured in the ground was pure. So then they put it in the ground to kill the insects and the pesticides. But then it grew in the trees, and then the people ate them and contaminated their body. And now it's a big deal.
Right.
Now it's a big, big deal. But in one of the documents I sent you, it talks about some of these chemicals are crazy, but how concentrated they were. But I have documents. Actually, one attorney got up and left because she had it out with Ramon Garcia, and she gave me a lot of her documents. And Mission also had a lot of the Munoz pits. Yes, of course.
Munoz.
Yeah, and what they did was they needed dirt there to level off their acres. And Munoz reached out to some of the workers, and the workers talked to the boss. It says, yeah, all this leftover dirt, go dump it at the Munoz pits. Well, the first rains came, all the fish died. And all the people from Munoz pits, they all died, cancer.
Wow.
Cancer. And one of them was a scientist. But then we had Barnick, Dennis Holbrook, which they had the chemicals were distributed by air dusters or by tractors, or they were taken from the port of entry in Brownsville, even to Nepal, India. That's where those 10,000 people died that night because they left a tank open. Those are poisons from Mission, Texas. A lot of our poisons, if you also see that, and I had a lot of people in my house from Nepal at one time. If you see that it says, the document I sent you, Mission brand pesticides, Mission Hayes-Sammons company was in Mission, Texas, SA, San Antonio got a lot of our chemicals for the military, even to Vietnam. And then Raymondville had another big warehouse. How come no one talks about Raymondville?
Wow.
They were afraid to. And then Reynosa. There was a big bodega in Reynosa. So since the Rio Grande is agriculture, people will tell you, oh, no, miss, I was working in the Roma area. No, miss, I was working in the Rio Grande area. And, here came the dusters spraying us. And everybody has been affected to some level. That's why even when you buy a home, you have to have the land assessed. And that's going to cost you about $25,000. But that's when I discovered that there was something wrong in our neighborhood, and the guys were really rude. And I said, man, that's my big house. Not only that, they were with their iron ball, they cracked my cement fence and they wouldn't repair it. So then I said, you know what? I need to find an attorney. I found an attorney, Mauro Reina. Mauro even died this year of pancreatic cancer.
Jeez.
He was working the fields. Not only that, he was the one who listened, and from there, he said, no, this case is too big for me. Let's go to Ramon Garcia. They gave me like a 30-minute presentation, and I had so much evidence that it went like 3 hours. And after that, they got a big firm in Houston, personal injury. Well, where's our money? We got paid a total of $18.5 million for 3,500 people. Where's our money? And then Anniston, Alabama, the same thing. That was under Republican Richard Shelby. He had 15,000 people. He got $1 billion. And we had us relocate. We had asked to get medical staff. We had asked, like right now, what Kennedy is saying, Senator Kennedy, that You need to assess the people and EPA. Yeah, we're ready. We want to be assessed. There's called biomarkers. Come do the study on us, the long range effects. I can take you to some of the houses. Te vas a quedar asustado. You're
Jeez.
going to get spooked. Not only that, that I had them test my water because I was just not feeling good. So then they came in, and I think the level is supposed to be 500. Mine was hitting 700.
Jeez.
And then arsenic. So when they moved the dirt, they didn't relocate the pipes. They didn't move the pipes. So now that I've been talking with the city engineer, he said, "Hey, no, it's just that these people want to filter the water." I said, "Where do you live, sir?" He said, "Not in Mission." I said, "Right, but everybody here is sick."
Right. Yeah, I find this so mind-boggling to me that like when I talk about these things, I get a lot of backlash. Because I think like I'm one of the few people that talks about it on social media, right? You've been doing your part for many years, but when I talk about this stuff, it's so unbelievable to people that the Rio Grande Valley is highly contaminated with toxins, especially like with the Arroyo Colorado. Like it has banned pesticides that are still flowing in there every single
Mhm.
day. There's so much toxic and chemicals that are in it, and when it floods, it overflows and it goes into communities across the Rio Grande Valley, which have also been known to cause cancer, a lot of illnesses and diseases. So when you talk about these Superfund sites, there's also a few other Superfund sites. Hidalgo County has three Superfund sites, like the Donna Reservoir also is another one. And then you're talking about like in Cameron County with the Niagara chemical plant too. Like these areas here in the Rio Grande Valley are highly toxic. And I've always asked myself, why are there so many sick people here in the Rio Grande Valley? And you seem to have stumbled upon that many years ago. Why don't you think people believe it, or why is it so hard for people to understand it?
Because they're, first of all, in denial. Second of all, they're not educated. I'm highly educated. I'm even nationally certified in my area. And then I was international. So I can get out of the box and look at the bigger picture. Now, a lot of these people, no, no, no. Well, where did your daddy work? At the plant. And I used to do scenarios on every family. He worked at the plant. The mother died of cancer. The kids, a couple of them were born deformed, and everybody else cancer. So, and I have the like the DDT. It causes cancer. It affects the nervous system, excitability, tremors, seizures, premature babies, liver cancer, shorter offspring, delayed puberty, and neurological behaviors. So I have done so much work and so much study. Lindane, I actually was aligned with some of Cesar Chavez, Dr. Rose. She came to my house and she talked to all the workers. Not one of them exists anymore.
Jeez.
And then the attorneys, no, 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 don't talk to them. Why? Because the attorneys were out to get $10 million, and that was it. They didn't care about. We had 10 items. We wanted to be relocated. We wanted medical. We needed the biomarkers. We had a bunch of items. Even my ex daughter-in-law, she was great at the computer. She left because she said, "No, I don't want to have a kid with your son, and then the child be born deformed." Well, what happened? My son had a child off of somebody else, and very deformed.
Wow.
So it's what you call crimes against humanity. But if this would have been in a black area like Anniston, Alabama, and white, they're going to jump to it. But leave it to a raza. Why do they not believe? I have a lot of information. I actually got honored this year. I had some students who came in from Illinois, Arizona, California, and North Texas, and I got honored for the number one Mexican American environmental activists,
Wow.
because I sat with them for hours and I showed them, and I actually have a big board that I wanted you to see some of the deformities, but it's been crazy. I don't know what's wrong with the raza. Actually, really, I don't know.
Is
I
is
don't.
it is it just the Rio Grande Valley? Because I mean, like it feels like we're very prideful and we don't like to be told what to do. But even the points like that people's children's are developing cancer, they're developing illnesses, and they don't know why. And then we're kind of explaining it like this, the region here is highly toxic in chemicals. Even the tap water is no good, even when the people that are
It's full of
higher up,
arsenic.
yeah, the higher ups are saying that it's okay to drink, it's safe to drink, when you can clearly see from the reports, the water reports, that it's not. Like I don't know how to, because I'm losing faith. I guess that's what I'm trying to tell you, is I'm losing faith trying to talk about this because I feel like nobody's coming to help us.
I know. That's why we need to submit a letter to Kennedy and EPA director, because now they're saying, they're blaming EPA and CDC for not doing anything. CDC didn't do anything. They just came in when they were destroying the giant bodega, and they had trailer houses. All the men would sit in there, all Anglos and a couple of blacks. They would sit in there and watch the football games. And then we are banging on their door. Hey, what are you doing? There's pregnant kids around here. Get 111. They didn't care.
Jeez.
I don't know. I guess I'm a fighter, and I fought a lot. And there's just some people that they don't give a damn. But when the time came to distribute monies, oh, they were in the line. I was going, hey, wait a minute. I was in court for the first 13 years. I'm lucky that I didn't lose my job. My superintendent was very good with me because she came from California and she was believed in Cesar Chavez movement. But the people just wanted the checks. They didn't want to fight.
Wow. That's unfortunate. So unfortunate. Do you think that the since the Rio Grande Valley has such a high poverty rate, like do they even want to be educated? Do they even want to be informed? Because I feel like it's something that they should be, like they should be open to knowing why their children are sick or why their children are developing cancer.
But I think another thing, like you have so many people that are illegal and they're afraid to come out. But we would go, a group of us, because I ended up having like a team of 10. We would go to the homes and we'd set up conferences and we'd talk to the people and say, hey, look, this and this and this. And your daddy worked at Hayes-Sammons. Sí, mija, se murió de cáncer. And I'm going, and yeah, look, my son, I lost him. He was born with this defective. But the water is very toxic. It's full of arsenic.
Yeah.
And we could prove that. But we need to get someone with strength to come in. Our city leaders are self-serving, and all they want is money for themselves. Several of them have lost. One of them, the mother has cancer. She's from Canal Street, one of the worst contaminated.
Jeez.
The other one, the father, también from that area, he died of cancer. And the mayor, her brother died at 6 years old, se envenenó. You think those three people were going to come and fight for him? No, but when the checks came in, oh, we barely got any money. I'm looking at them like, I almost lost my job. You know, I got evidence. We had 30-gallon drum. Oh, we turned in a lot of evidence. Well, our evidence was lost.
Huh. Wow. Wow. Jeez. That's so heartbreaking. Like it kind of it's so ridiculous. That's why I'm laughing. It's like it doesn't make sense. How can so is this area like still polluted? Does it still have chemicals and toxins in it?
Oh, yeah, but let me tell you what just happened. Um, some buyers from Taiwan across the street from the bodega that was highly contaminated. Some people from Taiwan came in and they bought a whole section of it and they built massive, beautiful duplexes. And we're going, how can they build there if it's so toxic? Oh, money and kickbacks.
Wow. That's unfortunate. So there's people living on top of that area right now.
Yep. In some of the area.
Jeez.
Uh, yeah, and I know they made a big story in the killing fields of Texas and on and on and on. It's just so disgusting.
So how can ordinary residents right now protect themselves? Because it doesn't even seem like they can do anything about it because a lot of people are literally living on top of it, and I bet you most of them don't even know.
No, they do know. They're just in denial or they don't care.
Wow.
Or they're considered disabled, so they're getting their monthly checks. Now I'm going to show you a picture of a baby. His name was Baby John Black. Baby John Black was born with birth defects. He lived 48 hours. He was born burned. How the hell are you born burned?
Wow. I never
Can you
heard of
see?
that.
Can you see it?
Yes.
Yeah,
He's
Baby John Black.
burned?
Burned, yeah, he's burned. Furthermore, his mother was from the area.
Jeez.
Yeah. Let me show you a couple of other people who were activists and helping me. Can you see him?
Yes.
Look at his arm. You know
Wow.
what they used to do? They used to get the samples of chemicals and put them on them for Halloween. Look at that. Yep. Look at more birth defects.
Wow.
Yep. More birth defects. This friend Rolando recently passed away with kidney failures, and this was Mr. B. He was one of the troqueros, and he was, oh my God.
Wow.
And people have seen this because I've posted them. I even posted them in UTRGV. There was even a doctor there. His name was Dr. Hucker. And Dr. Hucker was here for 3 years. He left. He couldn't take it. Dr. Hucker, it's in the Rio Grande Guardian. I can ship it to you, but I was supposed to meet with him, and Zoe got real sick. But Dr. Hucker said he couldn't take it. He said, I've never seen so much cancer, lupus, kidney problems. And then to top it off, he said, these people are so uneducated. They don't even have insurance.
Wow.
He couldn't handle it. He said, I have to go. He just left in July. He couldn't take it.
Wow. That's sad. That's sad. Jeez. And then you're also talking about like think about the McAllen groundwater plume. Have you heard about that one?
Yeah, we heard about that one. That was on 23rd Street, no?
Yes, 23rd and 83. And people are living and businesses are right operating right on top of that too. And I don't even hear a whisper about it. I was talking about it. One of my social media posts went viral, a few of them actually. And a lot of people on there were talking about how they got cancer, how their children got cancer. And then I was complaining that nobody had checked on that site since 2001 because there was no documentation on the TCEQ website. And then like maybe last month I checked again and there was an update from May that they released the new data and there's still 17 out of the 83 wells there that are still contain benzene and some levels of toxic chemicals. And the crazy part is that people are still living on top of it. They're still working,
And
still operating.
why haven't the city officials cleaned it up? See, that's what I don't understand. They become city officials because they're there to serve us. They just serve themselves. Now, they know they're not going to live there. They don't give a damn about living there. So, ahí está la gente that's financially disadvantaged and has a home there that's belonged generations to the family. So, where are they going to go?
Right.
That's what Hako was going to say. Where are these people going to go? My daughters are really upset with me because I'm still in this town.
Wow.
And I'm going like, ugh. So, yeah, McAllen, I've heard about it, but I didn't know there were that many wells.
Yeah, there are 83 and only 17 out of them are still containing so many nasty stuff and chemicals and benzene in it. It's just they've been known to cause cancer. It's just to me it's irresponsible. I feel because why wouldn't you tell the citizens that live there? And I pass by it every day. It's just like it seems like a normal place, but buried beneath it there's something dangerous and nobody talks about it. It's mind-boggling to me.
I know. No, everybody just addresses me. When are they going to pay us? When are they going to pay us? The last round was 8.5 million. They distributed 900,000. Where's the rest of it? Oh, well. And I was in court 4 years ago, and the judge said, look, whoever wants is going to sign, it's going to stay in. And yeah, this case is going to be closed.
Wow.
I know they still haven't closed it. Now it comes up with, oh, no, with the heirs, there's over 7,000. No, that's not what the judge said. So they're holding on to the money, they're holding on to the interest. And I have like 3 or 4 people who call over there, 5 or 6 people, and they give me reports. And I'm going, I'm so sick of this. I know, I'm dealing with a lot of health issues and my grandson, but this is crimes against humanity, man, and it's wrong.
Yeah, I feel like it's not even about money anymore. Like literally people are having these health issues because I mean at the end of the day, think about that too. Is like they obviously have money to give to the people that'll hush them up, but is it really about money anymore? Like because people are dying. You're right, it is crimes against humanity, and it doesn't seem like anything's gonna happen out of this.
I know. It's very frustrating, very, very frustrating because we thought we had the appropriate plan of action. Now, me being a teacher and coach, I'm going to tell my kids, these are the goals for the day, and this is how we're going to start, and this is how we're going to finish, and this is what we're going to accomplish. Like, in this politics, they don't care. It's kickbacks, it's how much, we build this, and who cares? The water that's being used is full of arsenic.
Yeah, man.
They don't care. They don't care. And a lot of people are telling me, "Come on, Esther, get us somebody to test our waters." And I said, "They're going to test them. They're all going to come out full of arsenic, 700, 800. They're going to come out extremely high levels. However, you're going to need a filtration system to clean it out, and that's going to be like 6,000, 60 a month. You got 60 a month." They go, "Shoot, we can't even afford a water bill." And I'm going, and you talk to the city officials, and they go, "Shh, don't say anything. Don't let it go." I'm going like, oh my God.
Just let our people die.
Yeah, they don't care. It's just about kickbacks and
That's
political system is coming around. But I think the one who really started everything was Rachel Carson, because she was a very famous scientist. And she was the one who came out with, hey, wait a minute, all these chemical companies that are being produced around all these lakes and areas, they're contaminating. But
You said
I like
Rachel Carson?
Rachel Carson. She wrote Silent Spring. But I like to read and I like to learn. There's a lot of people that, ay, yo voy a ver a la novela, no me molesten. I'm going,
Yeah.
really? And then somebody gets sick, ay, bueno, ni modo. I'm going, darn people, you don't try to exercise, you don't try to eat right, you don't try to help anybody. Uh, but it's very disappointing. But yeah, Jeff Cox sent me this, send you your broadcast, and that's why I already sent it to a bunch of people, and they're going, "I said, you going to contact him?" I go, "Yeah," and they're just like, I don't know. The Our next step is going to be Attorney General's office,
Yeah,
because
I'd
actually
like to help you with
we did go, and they to McAllen office. They said, "Oh no, we can't help you. We just do child support." I said, "But no, we have a case here
this. Hmm.
about contamination and not taking care of the people. They don't care. It's
Yeah,
incredible."
yeah, I feel like that's one of the things like yeah, just go over there and buy like whatever. It's
And like my daddy would say in Spanish, vete a volar la huila, go fly the kite.
it's so strange. I don't understand it. Like I cannot wrap my head around it when the city officials they clearly see the people getting sick or even their family members get sick and still nothing gets done.
I had one town barber who would say, no, mija, tengo que hablar contigo. I said, ¿qué pasó, sir? He said, yo lavaba el cabello de los apestosos. I used to wash the hair of the stinky ones. I said, what are you talking about? He said, oh, the man from Hayes-Sammons, they used to get out of work and they used to come for me to wash their hair and cut it. He says, do you know how bad those men stunk? I said, no, sir. But yeah, I smelled a couple of them. Oh my God. And he would say, yeah, mija, but I used to get all the poison and everything in my hand. He ended up dying of cancer.
Wow.
And the other barber también cancer. And it's amazing, but denial, denial, denial.
How do we fix that? Because I've been scratching my head, and I'm sure you've been scratching and doing your work for over these 20 years. And how do we get through the heads of these people?
Well, education is crucial, and always giving them a document like the one I sent you about the toxaphene, the emission brand insecticides, because we say, ¿qué trabajo hicieron en la bodega? What kind of work did you do at the warehouse? Ay, pues no sé, trabajaban con no, con fertilizers. They were not fertilizers. There was pesticides.
Right.
So I'm always distributing paper, and I'm always trying to talk to people, but I get tired of talking. But that's why we have to contact Senator John F. Kennedy to come and do the assessments on us, the long-term assessments, just like they're trying to do in Ohio. And they're going to see how much arsenic and how much poison we still have in Mission. It doesn't biodegrade. The scientists told me, nope. If it was diagnosed in 1984 and they remediated in 2005, it's going to be, those poisons are going to be here for another 100 years.
Wow. Yeah, and I'm sure there's forever chemicals in there that will never go away. It's just, man, it's so sad. It's so sad hearing this. I thought I was gonna have a great time talking to you. Just you, you brought my mood down.
No, well, I'm sorry. How do you think I feel?
No, I know, I know. And I get the same. I get the same feedback too when I show my documentary to a group of people. They kind of leave with their heads down, and they say, "Yeah, you're really good at creating awareness about the issues, but how do we fix it?"
Yeah, exactly. What
Yeah,
is the solution to the
the
problem?
solution.
And it's like even these board members, two of them have children with autism,
Well,
you know, and they want to be in denial,
man.
you know, but they're just crimes against humanity. And until people realize that, yep, we have real problems here. Let me show you this, see if you can see this.
Yes.
Did you see the readers forum?
Yes, I see it.
What does it say? Chemical contamination, South Mission.
South Mission.
And then that's when we were really, really strong and we had I had a big crew. We were trying to get our tax health dollars to pay for all their waste, but of course, no, they didn't. And then even in the 80s, here we have Mr. Murillo, who
Hmm.
was considered the most contaminated man on earth. And
Wow.
then all the 30-gallon drums with the skull head. Man.
Jeez.
So I don't know. I don't know. I go, maybe this case didn't get anywhere because I'm a female. I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I would feel like if people are dying and people have cancers at alarming rates, you think that would catch the attention of people.
They don't care. So we used to bury two. The most I buried in one day was four. And after that, my doctor, I got really depressed and sick. And he said, "You're not going to any more funerals."
Wow.
But yeah, no. But then I have Mission has a bunch of Superfund sites. It's not just those two. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12
12
diagnosed. And
side. Jeez.
I have all the information on them. I can always make you a copy and send it to you. And this was from EPA, and we got all their information on the site. So I got a lot of stuff.
So those 12 sites right there for Mission, they're considered Superfund sites as well?
No, well, it says here, hold on, it says Mission Superfund, but the ones who were considered what 1 and 3 was the big warehouse on Holland and the Munoz pits.
Wow.
The other ones are just
Highly contaminated.
yeah, Orchard Care Service, Putz Aerial Service, Smiley Grove Care, Texex. I don't know. And now, since they got rid of the big plant, then that's when they say, "Oh no, es que ya lo limpiaron, ya
Right.
lo tumbaron." Yeah, but what's under there?
Yeah. Can imagine all that stuff seeped into the ground over the years.
Yeah, they don't seem to care.
That's unfortunate. It's unfortunate to hear. I had really hoped that I'd be able to help, and I want to help. So what can I do to help you?
Well, we need to submit a letter, but we need also a good video. And also, Henry Cuellar did nothing to help us, nothing. And I have pictures when we were, having meetings and we got him there. But now that he's running for re-election and they have him for bribery and they have him, oh, I'm nationally certified. I have a bachelor's, but I have a national certification in my area. But he got 5 PhDs.
Hmm.
How does Henry Cuellar get 5 PhDs when he's in office?
Wow.
What are the 5 PhDs on? As soon as he got it, somebody sent it to me, and I was like, and I have several of my students who are PhDs, and I go, is it that easy to get a PhD? They go, no. And I go, well, how do you get five?
Wow.
Instead of one time did he come and say, hey, Miss Salinas, a restaurant need to meet with you, and what do you recommend? What do I do for the people here with the Superfund? Or how can, there's people, roofs are falling. They have no house insurance. They're they're going to lose their homes. I have several people because they've been so sick or their family members have died in cancer. And a lot of our young men in jail. We have high levels of PTSD here because of the chemical imbalances in their brains.
Please.
And I can't, if I had money and I was a millionaire, maybe I would. I know I would help people because I'm still a Lion member and we're always working to help our community,
All right.
our Lions, our Lion banner. But I
Yeah.
don't have the money some of these people have. They have millions and they do face jobs and pompous jobs and boob jobs and what do they call it? Botox. I don't have time for that. I'm busy taking my grandson to his appointments and medical malpractice. They drilled one of his kidneys wrongfully and they messed it up and they killed it.
Wow.
He almost bled to death. Now, I'm going to go against a big DHR. I'm not going to get anywhere. Don't even go there.
Wow.
Done it, and I had a lot of faith in the attorneys I had gotten, even to, Jose, Ramon Garcia, then he wasn't going to put up with me anymore because he didn't want me to question anything. Wait a minute, sir. That's not what we need. We have families with no air cons. We need some air cons, man. These people and babies can't even breathe. But we had to raise money for window units ourselves to put in some of those families' homes. We
Wow.
ended up burying a lot of our own people.
That's so sad to hear. That's so
And a lot of the politicians, F blank blank hate me because the people come to me. I used to move 800 votes. I'm not a politiquera. I don't get paid for a vote, but I will set up a meeting so we can meet the candidate. Okay?
yeah.
But don't pay me. Don't think you're going to get me to buy for a vote, pay for a vote. But then we vote someone into office because they're supposed to help us and they help themselves.
That's unfortunate. That's the whole thing is like your campaign, you talk about the whole campaign while you're running and then something changes and then you suddenly just don't talk about that stuff anymore.
Exactly.
That's so sad.
There's children drinking water from their houses that is full of arsenic. One of the young men who came to test says, I know, what did I do come into this town? He says, but not only this town, he says, Hidalgo and all the colonias are so full of arsenic. I said, yeah,
Yeah.
because the chemicals went to all the land.
Yeah. There's 150,000 people that live in in colonias in Hidalgo County alone, and many of them can't afford clean water. So just imagine what they're consuming. And I think a lot of people, because I posted about this too, and everybody's like, well, everybody knows not to drink the water. That simply is not true. Like people still consume it because either one, they can't afford it or they have no other choice.
Right.
I was invited to a flooding event back in like a couple of months ago, and they asked me to speak, and I kind of like dropped the bomb and I said, "Why do you think there's so many sick people here in the Rio Grande Valley?" And a lot of it is because of the environment. And at the end of this meeting, I can only assume that it was somebody from the water board or something. He got up there and he kind of scoffed at me, and he's like, "Well, everybody knows that there's arsenic in the water." It's like that's simply is not true.
No, but that's not the solution. If there's arsenic in the water, clean it up. Now, what did Texas A&M came out with millions of dollars, and instead of coming up with the filter systems, oh
Hmm.
no, they gave them two pitchers with a little
Brita.
filter, and I was going, oh my God, I consume so much water because I'm also diabetic. I said, are you serious? You gave them two pitchers to filter their water.
Wow.
But at their household, because they're not going to live around that area, they have filtered water.
Yeah, that's
Like I
unfortunate.
said, it's crimes against humanity, but we're going to submit a letter, and I'm also getting the Rio Grande Guardian because he's helps us out a lot, and we're going to submit letters to Kennedy and EPA, and we're going to invite him to come down and do the long range study on the Superfund. And you don't know how much information I have on the Superfund.
Wow.
So much. They've tried to steal it from me. I had to relocate it and to take care of pictures and so. Oh, I know. It's a job in itself.
Jeez. Well, Esther, I appreciate your time. If obviously I do want to help you, so we can help to draft up those letters and anything you need from me. The Rio Grande Valley is my home. My grandparents were from Mission, Texas, too. So everybody I know is from the Rio Grande Valley. My heart is here. My friends are here. So hearing these stories about cancer and people dying is just it's very heartbreaking. So
It
I
is.
know I have to do my part as an RGV resident.
Well, maybe in another podcast, we can do a story on my daddy. He
Yeah.
was from Rio Grande City and he learned how to play baseball off of the Fort Ringo soldiers. And he was the first Hispanic, Mexican, Indian baseball player who broke the white lines.
Wow.
So I'm also the big owner and collection. I'm going to help Rio Grande City, and they're making uh, playing areas. And I have the history on Rio Grande. But Daddy left Rio Grande to come to Mission because of 30 baseball park, and he wanted to boost the economy, get the men to play baseball. But nope, they destroyed the park and they built the bodegas and go to work picking oranges and contaminating your hands and your health. But
Jeez.
thank you so much.
Absolutely, Esther. I appreciate your time.
Okay.
All right, we'll talk soon.
God bless. Bye
Have
bye.
a good day.